You know what I think I'm going to start doing? Go ahead. You know what I think I'm going to start doing on Sundays? I think I'm going to watch Dolphins games. You guys watch Dolphins games? We watch the Saints every Sunday. Miserable experience, right? We can watch the Dolphins. Do you watch the Dolphins? The Dolphins have Tua. He's a lefty. How many left-handed quarterbacks have you seen? Not a lot. It's incredible. They got speed going all over the field. They got this guy who runs like a 4.2. Apparently, they got a white guy on a practice squad that's faster than all of the guys on this team. But really, the thing is they got the lefty quarterback. We haven't seen a lot of lefty quarterbacks. And now Patty's back. You should tune into Miami games on Sundays.
You know what I love about this?
Dolphins, to be clear.
This isn't even a live podcast. We could have cut whatever we wanted.
Of course. What fun is that?
Let me talk to you. Just get started, just like that. Yeah. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. We starting with hey, yo tonight. I know I said let me talk to you. We starting with hey, yo. Happy heavenly birthday to Scott Hall, the bad guy.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Sorry, it was a little moment of silence in there, too. Official podcast of coffee free agents everywhere. We're still on that shtick. I know you thought we weren't, but we are, baby. It's not going away. Just
Forever
like us.
And always.
Forever and always, yeah. Forever and ever, amen. I got a question.
Yeah.
What is it about Bad Bunny that makes me feel Hispanic?
I don't know, man. I think when I started really listening to Bad Bunny, that made me want to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
I'll be honest though, I don't really I do catch a word here and there, but I feel like most of it is like slang.
It is.
And I'm like, I don't know.
A lot of it is. He's one of those artists that like the beat and the way like his rhythm gets me, and I'm like, hell yeah, like this is I could bop to this all night.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'll randomly hear one word that I know because like I can kind of understand from time to time, and I'll be like, I know what he's talking about.
I understand more than I did 3 months ago. Or 125 days ago, because that's what my Duolingo streak is at.
Hell yeah. I get in these moods. I was working out to Bad Bunny today. That's what made me think of it. I get in these moods though where it's just like I gotta listen to Bad Bunny. I hadn't heard his new album. It's phenomenal. It's just like his old stuff, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I like the in between too. I have a take on this, and I think I told you once before. I may have even said it on the podcast. I feel like Bad Bunny is just a Hispanic Drake.
I could see that.
Like it's for me, and Bad Bunny fans out there might be insulted, and maybe Drake fans are insulted. I don't know, but for me, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I could see that. I played in the car even when like Courtney's with me, and I feel like she just zones out and is like, "Why we're listening to this?" It's not even just Bad Bunny. I've been listening to like more just Hispanic music.
Oh yeah.
Some country guy, I forget his name, put out a Hispanic country album, and I was like, "Oh, interesting."
There's a ton, man. There's a ton of great ones. I went through when I worked in baseball. That's what really got me into the whole reggaeton in general, right? Because every walk-up song was something I didn't know, and I was like, "Damn, I like that song," so I'll go look it up.
Killed a spider.
You killed a spider? Thanks, man.
At PETA.
Don't do that. We don't need PETA on our backs. Speaking of, I got to call the pest control guy so they can get rid of all the spiders.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. You were listening to Hispanic music in baseball?
Yeah, so in baseball, everybody's walk-up song was something that just made me like want to wiggle, you know?
I like
Getcha Wiggle On.
I get it.
I liked it, man. I'd be sitting in the box office, not even paying attention to the game sometimes, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, so-and-so's coming up to bat. I love his song.
I like that.
I love it.
I like that.
We also had a super random. We also had an end of year softball game with a lot of the guys from the clubhouse who were all also Hispanic, and they had some dudes that played like minor league ball or were trying to play minor league ball. And one of the coolest experiences of my life. Like a lot of them didn't really speak English. All their wives and children came, and they cooked the most phenomenal food that I had never eaten. I don't even know what it was called.
Wives cooked it?
Yeah, the wives cooked it while we were playing. And they were passing around homemade liquor that they called Mamawana. There's a song called Mamawana, which I don't know if it's the same thing, I'll be honest. But man, I like...
Mama wanna do what?
Yeah, well, yeah. Mamawana. Anyways, great times, man. I love the culture. That's what I'm getting at. I love the culture. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, who does it? Who does it? Like, we have a whole holiday celebrate. We made up a whole holiday to celebrate it.
Sticks in the mud. That's who. You know what? It's funny. I always have dumb thoughts. And when I was thinking of talking about Bad Bunny tonight and saying I feel like I'm Hispanic when I listen to Bad Bunny, I was also going to say that I really appreciate margaritas. And for some reason, listening to Bad Bunny makes me want a margarita real bad.
Yeah.
And anybody who gets that, I don't know why you get it, but thank you. Hopefully you laughed.
Shout out to them. I know you were kind of trying to fit this in, but you have a drink and I don't. And I am parched. So.
My fault. So we have this thing we wanted to do tonight. I texted Dave earlier. I said, yo, I just saw this random TikTok, which obviously I see all kinds of random TikToks, where like they just got a box that they subscribe to and it was like stuff from all over the world and it was like snacks. I was like, we should just randomly start doing that with like random stuff. I was like, we could start with beer. If you just want to go grab the first beer you see, the most random beer you see, we can pop it on the pod tonight and see what's happening. I wasn't thinking that he was going to be getting antsy and itching over here before I got to that. So let's just get to that now.
I realized I didn't. Usually I have my water and I need something to drink while we talk. And I realized I don't have anything. And I was.
Cheers.
I feel like I just needed something.
All right. Well, let me grab you something. I know you can't move your mic, so I'll move mine. Are we starting? Which one are we starting with?
Let's start with that one.
With the little. All right.
With the can. Give those a little longer to get cold.
Here's yours, my
so
good friend.
this is how this worked. I went into Total Wine. Shout out to Total Wine.
Yeah.
And I kind of just went into the cold section first because
because it's late and we couldn't get it cold.
This was a last minute plan, and I needed something cold. And I grabbed the first one that caught my eye. And of course, being that we are the official podcast of Coffee for Agents Everywhere,
shout out.
This one said coffee really big on the can, so I grabbed it.
Yeah,
it is the Second Line Brewing. So shout out to Second Line Brewing. Coffee blonde with ale with coffee and vanilla bean.
Love it. Government warnings all over it.
I think it's going to be similar to that one I had at Chimes the other day.
Oh, certified craft beverage, a Louisiana product. Louisiana. If you get that reference, I also appreciate you. I'm going to come with a bunch of obscure references, and if people know what the hell I'm talking about, we're here. We're here. All right, we're going to pop this thing. He said it already. It's a coffee blonde, Second Line Brewery. You know the funny thing about Second Lines? They weren't the first. Shout out.
Shout out.
I was trying to get the sound in the microphone and I dribbled a little bit.
I'd like your take.
I like it, man. It's definitely got some coffee flavor. It's good.
It's very easy to drink.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
I was listening. I could drink all of these tonight.
Yeah, it's funny because like we've had beer together before. You used to always say that, oh, Patty's not the beer drinker. I like beer, but like I just don't drink it often. This is good.
Would you say would it have to be, in order for you to want to drink beer, is it a mood thing? And it doesn't really matter what the beer is, you'll drink it if you're in the mood? Or is it something like this, where it's got to be something special and not just like a Miller Lite?
It's a little bit of both. It's definitely a situational thing. A lot of times I don't drink beer just because I don't want to feel very like bloated. And that's why I'm against it. I still like the flavor. I like the taste.
Yeah.
I'll dive into beer like a Saints game, like a football game or something like that because it's easy to drink. I'm not going to get like hammered. Nobody wants to be hammered leaving a game.
Right.
Or maybe you do. I don't know. Last game. We'll get into that. Crawfish boils, beer,
Outside of like, ever since I started diving into like beers like this, like just random beers, like I rarely keep like a Miller Lite in my house.
Yeah.
Like parties, I'll have it. Like if I'm going to drink a lot, you're not going to buy a bunch of.
I'll do it at parties
beers, right?
too, like little birthday parties or something. But honestly, these days, listen, everybody knows I'm a bougie white bitch. We talked about this before. I'm on the seltzer kick, man. I'm drinking the seltzers.
I like it. Well, depending on the time of year, like summertime parties, I like to just go grab a daiquiri.
Nothing wrong with that. I personally stay away from them just because they're loaded with sugar, but they're phenomenal.
Yeah, but see, for me, if I'm going to a party, like I'm not concerned about the sugar.
It's a holiday.
I like this. Shout out to Second Line. This would be something I would drink often. It's got like the perfect amount of coffee hint to it.
Yeah, it's really good. You could taste the coffee, but then right there the blonde comes too, so it's like, yeah, it's solid.
It's very similar to the thing I had the other day.
Have you been, we talked about this off the pod, did you go to Oktoberfest yet? It's October. Halloween's coming up. We can talk about that too, but it's October. Have you been to an Oktoberfest anywhere this year?
No,
what you got going on?
I wanted to go last weekend, the one we were talking about, but it was way too expensive. So I have not been to one. It's something I've always wanted to do. I just never had a chance to do it.
I used to love it. I used to go to Deutsch's house all the time for Oktoberfest back in the day. And I actually got invited by a close buddy of mine last night to go tomorrow, trying to get all the particulars together. Maybe we end up there. I don't know. If you see me there, it's going to be too late because this won't be out until like the day of. So So maybe you hear it tomorrow at noon and you're like, oh, he might be there. And you come see me. Weirdo. Don't do that. Yeah, no, I was just curious. I don't know if you would make it out anywhere.
I would like to, but it doesn't seem like I'm going to get to.
What is your favorite thing about Oktoberfest?
I don't know. Never been.
You've never been ever?
Ever.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. You would think I'm sort of saying I really want to go to one, but something always comes up.
It's a lot of beer.
Yeah.
A lot of people in lederhosen.
Mm-hmm.
People playing the little... I don't know what that thing's called. I can't remember right now.
My cousin was posting videos of one. It had to be in Chalmette. That's where he lives. And it was just a bunch of people dancing with giant mugs of beer, and we're running in and then running out of the circle and doing all kinds of crazy shit. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. That's what it is. And it's actually, a lot of them are kid friendly. You would think they're not because people are just getting hammered.
Yeah. But
it kind of is. Kids are welcome. I don't know if it's kid friendly. Kids are definitely welcome. Let's put it that way. There's bands normally.
Yeah.
They have, good German food if you like German food. A lot of pretzels and bratwurst and things like that.
I like a good pretzel.
It's a very heavy festival. Let's put it that way. So hopefully you're getting up and dancing. Otherwise, the next day you're probably going to be kind of...
Well, that one you were going to be walking up and down down the street. It would have been perfect.
There you go.
But,
That's
I don't
it.
know. Maybe I find a way to squeeze one in if there's one around here somewhere.
Squeeze it in.
We'll see.
Anyways, we'll get to the topic at hand. All right. The Saints played last night. It was Thursday Night Football. I know you guys expect us to talk sports occasionally, and we're definitely going to do that right here. There's a lot of things that came out of that game. There's a lot of different topics we can dive into, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. The one that I want to dive into first is the one that's been a hot topic all over social media. It's one that we've kind of talked about in our little Discord. Derek Carr blowing up, I guess you would say it, yelling a little bit. I want to get your thoughts because I have some thoughts, and I'll follow up though. You go first.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He's yelling a little bit. Listen, man. How do we go about this? At first, I didn't have a problem with it when it happened the first time. But now, the one with Olave got me. I'm like we used to see Brady do that all the time. Drew to a lesser extent, Peyton to a lesser extent, Manning. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They weren't as hot-headed as Brady, but they would get on guys, right? Now, there's a difference to getting on somebody to try to raise them up and just getting on them to get on them. And that's what Derek Carr's doing, to me.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, yeah.
That's fair.
It doesn't feel like when he's doing it, it's any kind of productive at all. And then also, to stick with the Brady, Breeze, and Manning thing, they're accomplished. Players respect them. Mm-hmm. So when they do it, if Breeze did that to Olave, he could be like, all right, this is Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr ain't done nothing. You ain't won a damn thing, buddy.
Yeah.
Right? I'm tired of him. Like, he's not playing well enough to be throwing people under the bus like that on TV. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't be out here throwing fits when you got a whole list of problems yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, yeah, this guy may be doing something wrong. Like, I think it's pretty clear that Olave is doing something. He ain't, or, not right, whatever, however you want to say it. But you can't be doing that. And then you got the nerve to not just get up there and accept it and say you're wrong. Like, he got up there and was like, I gotta wind that back. But he gets up there and he's like, I wasn't yelling at Chris. Motherfucker, I saw you.
Yeah.
Who you yelling at? The other sideline? Because we all saw who you were yelling at.
Yeah.
And then Chris gets up there, to his credit, and is like, I'll take the blame for it. It's on me.
Yeah.
That guy's in year 2. Derek Carr's 30-something years old. Which one of them's being more mature here, right?
Yeah, it's fair. Okay. I've got thoughts. I wanted to let you get your piece in. First and foremost, I don't care, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care. I don't care if he's being mature. I don't care how it comes across. I don't care if he's earned the right to do that. None of that matters, in my opinion. None of that matters. What matters is playing cohesive football And if you're not running your goddamn routes, you're not going to win games. I don't care who was right in that situation. I don't care. Like, let me take you into the mind of a quarterback real quick. When you're going through your reads, right? You're expecting your receivers to do certain things. And if they're not doing those things, other people aren't going to be open. Whether that play was going to be for Olave or not, if he's not going to run his route, then that out route is not going to be open. Other routes may not be open. If you're running mesh concept or you're running other things and you can't rely on that guy to be where he's supposed to be, everything gets cluttered up. Everything. So as a quarterback, and I'm not, listen, I don't want to come across as like I'm defending Derek Carr, because that's definitely how this is going to sound, and I realize that. He's done a lot wrong, okay? He's been very inaccurate. A lot of the decisions he made are questionable. But in that situation, I look at it as the culmination of he's frustrated overall with everything. It's not just that he's frustrated with Olave. He's frustrated with Pete. He's frustrated that he just can't seem to figure out what the hell's going on. Like, he's just overall frustrated. The offense looks terrible. He knows that. He's a competitor. He wants to win. And I don't fault him for that. I want that.
Fair. But he ain't the only competitor on the team.
No, but he's the one that has the ball in his hands every play, and everything goes through him. And whether we want to admit it or not, everything falls on him if they fail. Everything.
Now you say you just want to win games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would argue what he's doing is counterproductive. Overall, like, I don't care that he's...
Is it because you're worried about the mindset of the other guys?
That's what I mean...
So I have another opinion on that. And I get it. Like, I know that, like, people think differently than I do. If you're a competitor and you can't handle somebody yelling at you because you're not doing your job, maybe you shouldn't have that job. And I know I'm taking that off the deep end, and I don't mean that's not a shot at Olave, okay? Because I know Olave can handle it.
See, I'm looking at it more as I'm not even like just focusing on the Olave one now, because that one's a little bit specific. He's yelling at one person for not doing his job. He's done it a bunch of times, man.
He has.
And it just goes back to, like, you can do that, but like, you're not in, like, I don't know how I want to say it. Like, he's just not in the position to be criticizing other people for not doing his job, because there's scenarios where everybody's doing their job and he's not.
He can't necessarily get in the position to earn that respect if guys aren't going to do what they're expected, though. Like, it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to just that's why it kind of falls back on Pete and DA, because they have to step in and take control. This can't be always a player-led thing where it's Kamara speaking up, whether it's, Michael Thomas speaking up and being like, oh, we're going to figure it out. It's not the coaches. Well, you know what? It falls back on the coaches. If communication is breaking down somewhere along the lines, and this is where we start guessing at things, right? Because we really don't know what's happening with the communication.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that it's communication issues everywhere.
100%. The hot call where Kamara just doesn't see. I mean, that
he came out and said he was wrong.
And there's blitzes that aren't picked up, or they were. Now it seemed a lot better last game. Which also, not to go off on another tangent, I know going into the game, Kirk Herbstreit or whoever I think it's Kirk Herbstreit, had read that the offensive line was piecemealed together. So he just kept driving home the fact that the offensive line looked bad. They did not look bad at all. They looked good.
I didn't hear any of that being
you were there.
The game.
You were there.
I read that people were saying that they were really speaking bad about the offense.
Yeah, they didn't look bad at all. Like, was he having to get the ball out a little quick sometimes? Yeah. But honestly,
they didn't look bad for what they were.
No.
For having a guy,
they look
granted, he's a first-round pick, Cam Irving.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, Pete, I feel like Pete should be able to do that job of left tackle. Good enough.
Yeah.
But for what they were, they held up really well. Now, the running game wasn't great, but it hasn't, that hasn't been great all year.
That's fair.
Pass protection was fine. Had more than enough time. He got, they got to him a couple times, but they got Josh Allen. Like, that dude's going to get through anybody.
Right.
Right. I think the way I want to put this is, I'm with you that I don't necessarily care that he's doing that. I think it's the part that it's always on camera, that everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Because this team has a list of problems right now. You don't need to be adding to that.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to get at. It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm worried about him messing up the mindset of Olave. Like, he's a grown man.
Right.
Like, I want him to go back at Derek Carr, even if he was wrong.
That's fine. Yeah. To be clear here, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
It can go the other way.
Listen, I'm fine with the T.O. Donovan McNabb situation on the side. Right?
As long, look, if you can do it publicly, I don't care. I know that people have opinions on that. It is what it is. In the moment, in the heat of the moment, every football player will tell you you're going to get like that. Like, it is what it is. You get mad at each other, but you're a family. You're going to talk. I guarantee they talked about it after the game, or they talked about it 5 minutes later. They're fine. I guarantee it. I think it's okay to do that. Maybe they're not fine. I don't know.
I don't know if those two specifically. Something's up with them. Something's up with them, whether it's on him or
I'll tell
if
you
something's
this.
up with it. Like, I'm getting to the point with Olave where I'm like,
Well, so
dude, like and listen, I understand you pointed this out last week, and everybody keeps saying he has a right to be doing that because his quarterback sucks, his offense sucks.
you never have a right to do that.
You don't have a right to be quitting on
No.
routes because, like you said, and like everybody has pointed out since then, it wasn't even for him.
Right.
Like, go
Right.
so that your team can get open.
Right.
And listen, I'm not a fan of Brandon Cooks ever since he did what he did, but Brandon Cooks didn't even do that.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks at least played the game.
He balled out and then he left.
and he said,
that was it. He got traded.
he just said something afterwards.
Yeah.
Which
Which is fine.
right.
I'm okay with that too.
I don't want to get off topic, but he did it in a win, which I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Like a blowout win.
I remember
didn't
that.
like
Yeah.
that.
He was talking about
Yeah.
knocking the ball after we won by a lot. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, man.
But no, like, you just gotta. You can't defend what Chris Olave is doing. And, we gave him a couple weeks where we were like, all right, it was maybe one play here or there. This is 3 or 4 weeks in a row now.
Yeah. I think what's happening is that it's a couple plays a game and those plays are getting magnified. He's not doing this every play.
But a
Let's
couple
be
plays
clear.
a game is too many.
It is too many. You're right.
Especially in that one. That was a fourth down play. Or
I don't remember.
It was
I
a
don't
third or
remember
fourth because they came off the field afterwards. So it's a third or fourth down
Yeah, it was
play.
a third down. It was 3rd and 5. I remember I watched some film breakdown.
And his
earlier.
job is to clear out a 10-yard route.
Right.
That was going to be open. You
Yeah.
could see it if by now we've seen all 22 shots.
When
And it's
when I saw it live, I initially thought, before I saw the 22, I initially thought he had a step and Carr was thinking, oh, the corner's opening his hips. I'm just going to launch it, and I have faith that Olave is going to beat him to the ball. Then I saw the breakdown, and I was like, oh, okay, like, he was never going to be open. But this other guy was going to be open. So I was like, it is what it is. The dissecting the decision-making on Carr's part, I'm not going to say that was even the right read. It is what it is. But what I am going to say is...
It didn't even feel like a read. It almost felt like he just threw it out of frustration.
Yeah.
Almost like...
Oh, no, that's what happened. Now, I'm not a professional quarterback, but I've been there where I started telling my guys because they weren't running my routes. I was like, listen, I'm just going to throw the ball where I want it. And if you're not there, it is what it is.
It almost like he did it to make it seem like Olave wasn't where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which is another problem. Like, you can't do that either.
You're right. That's immature. I'll be honest. I was 20 when I was doing that. Okay. Like,
listen, it's just, there's so many, like, you can bash Olave. He's wrong. He's doing that. But again, Derek Carr is just as bad right now. Like, he deserves so much blame for things. He can't read an offense in the red zone. And I don't know, they're throwing fade routes to Olave on 4th and goal. Like, what are we doing? Is that it? There's other reads.
yeah, I'm actually...
He's going straight to that.
I'm kind of questioning, just after the last few games, I'm questioning his progressions. I think what he's doing, to be completely honest, is he's locking in on one read, and that's what he's going to.
I'll tell you, being there, it gave me a whole different view.
Yeah.
That, like, immediately from the beginning of the game, I was like, this is different than a couple weeks ago. I think a couple weeks ago, play calling was an issue, but that was not the biggest issue this game.
No.
There's a couple times, right? But specifically in the red zone, he's got guys coming open right away, and he's focused over here.
So I've got thoughts, and I'll put a bow on this, and you can finish with thoughts too if you want. I think what's happening, and I'm totally guessing at this. That 2-minute drill was amazing. Okay, he looked phenomenal. I think somewhere along the way, when the play is coming in, there's some type of disconnect, right? I don't know if, because I know Taysom's calling a lot of the plays in the huddle when Taysom's in the game because they want to make it look like, oh, is Taysom at quarterback? He's not a quarterback. They're trying to confuse the defense. I don't know if that's causing a breakdown with Carr somewhere. Somewhere along the way, there is a breakdown, and he is questioning everything he does. You can see it. He is not throwing with anticipation. He's locking on the guys. Like last game, there was 4 or 5 plays where he just threw it late. He had the guy who threw it late. Hold on. There was one play that I think led to the Olave not running his route thing. Olave's wide open on a post pattern. Doesn't even look at him. He's the read on the play. If you look at the play, he doesn't even look at him.
You don't look at the middle of the field.
No.
The middle of the field was open all the time. All the time. And he's so focused on the sidelines. Like I don't know. No, all I was gonna say was, is this something like I didn't watch a lot of Derek Carr. I watched the Raiders when the Raiders came on.
Right.
Is this something he's always done?
Maybe.
Like I don't know. Like I know he's known for having red zone struggles, but like I always felt like he was at least decent.
I thought he was decent too, to be completely honest with you. I would take last year's Derek Carr, and last year's Derek Carr, from what I remember, was not good.
No, last year's Derek Carr just force fed Devontae Adams.
Fine, force feed Michael Thomas.
That's the
Throw
other
to him every
thing,
play.
man. And you've pointed it out multiple times. Like, can we not get him to run a slant?
I don't know what's happening.
That's not
there.
even happening. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure Nick will put out some kind of study soon with how many slants he's run compared to the past. Like, all the people are saying Mike ain't what he used to be. That man looks fine.
He's not in position to be what he used to be.
He may not be as fast as he was, which he never was a blazer, but he's winning.
Yeah.
He's not winning jump balls in the end zone that are getting thrown at the shoulder pads of the defender in front of him.
Yeah, that was a terrible throw.
Yeah. And like even the one the touchdown was the throw was okay, but Michael Thomas saved it.
He made it. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean,
like I don't know, man. There's so much blame. Like there's some guys that are like Mike looks good. No, it seems like him and Derek Carr have had times where they've had issues. That's the times where I'm like, what is the communication issue here? Like Olave's a second year guy. He should know what to do, but you can kind of understand it if there's something.
It's something with Carr. I'm telling you, there is a communication breakdown. Carr and his receivers and his offense are not on the same page. I tweeted it at the beginning of the game. Carr does not have command of the offense. He doesn't, they're not speaking the same language.
I want to see Jameis with the offense.
I don't.
Because he's been in the system, 3 years now? I just want to see if it runs a little smoother. Because,
no Jameis Winston-led offense has ever run smooth. It's always been shot play. What is he doing? Shot play. What is he doing?
That might be smoother than
it's a roller coaster ride, man. And listen, it gets you points.
I don't know, man.
It's wild.
I just this ain't working.
It ain't. It ain't working.
And every time I say it's time for Jameis, I always preface it with I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because I don't. There's so many other issues with the team, and it's not Jameis. Even if Jameis is a better quarterback, he's not this much better. You know what I mean? Even if Jameis is better, the difference in Jameis and Derek Carr is not as great as some people would make it seem.
I agree.
Right.
Right now, yeah, I totally agree.
Right.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah. So
I want to say, I said it on Twitter. I'm going to say it on the podcast. I'm just going to put it out on the airwaves, right? The Saints have not proven that they should not start Taysom Hill at quarterback. And we are on year 3 of this right now.
I saw somebody tweet out last night. It was a poll. Will Jay Kaner get a start before the end of the season?
No.
You don't think so?
You're going to have some injuries. So I don't know. Yeah. You're going to have some injuries.
Does Derek Carr start the entire season?
I think so, unless he gets hurt. I don't think they pull him. Unless it's what saved him, if he would have just rode off into the sunset last night without that 2-minute drive, the questions already start. The fact that he looked good in the 2-minute drive, now it's like, oh, okay, well, did we have something? How do we get that? How do we tap into that?
Yeah. I think Dennis Allen is going to ride with these dudes to a fault.
Yeah, we've talked about that too. People compare him and Peyton a lot. Listen, I want to get off the Peyton thing. I don't care anymore. This is Dennis Allen's team, and we need to focus on it that way. I get there's connections there, whatever. People compare them, and they're like, well, Peyton had the top offense, and we gave him a pass when his defenses were shit. But what Peyton did is he made choices quickly. He fired defensive coordinators that didn't perform, and he moved on. If you're going to ride a guy that's not performing, that's on you, man. Like, you got to take that hit now.
I wonder if Dennis Allen has if they've given him the authority that Peyton had.
That's also fair.
I would assume, because it kind of, maybe not last year, I don't think he did. I would think this year they kind of, because he went and got his people this year.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he would have the authority to do it. But because it's Pete and because he's been around so long, I don't know that Mickey would just be like, yeah, do what you want to do it with him.
You know what, though? I feel like at this point it's kind of obvious. Like, if Dennis Allen walks in Mickey's office tomorrow and he's like, hey, man, like, they probably already had the conversation. Let's be real.
Well, you don't even have to fire him yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. They've probably already had the conversation about what do we do? Like, if we take this step, then what?
Yeah. You don't even, like, the first step is just letting somebody else call plays. And like you mentioned last week, just move Pete into a different role.
Curry was the one that made the halftime speech. And then if you look at the sidelines, every time the offensive players are talking, it's Curry, Thomas, Carr, and Kamara.
Yeah. And like, we don't know how good he is at anything, but give him a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know. We spent enough time on
We have talked about the Saints. Listen, there's a lot of emotion there. There's more things we could talk about too, but
that's the thing. It's not even like there's no analysis anymore. It's just, this is just emotion. It's the same thing we got into last year, where it's the same thing week after week,
right?
And we get tired of talking about it. So
I think there's some analysis in there though. Like, you can question some things and throw out some ideas, which we did. So that's fine.
You want to grab me that?
Yeah. What you want? This other coffee one?
Yeah.
Step 2.
Unless you're ready to just go for another one.
I mean,
we'll save it. We'll save it. I got a rant. I got another rant.
You got a rant?
I got another
we're
rant.
just gonna keep it
Not
negative.
Necessarily a rant.
Or do you want to throw a positive thing in between?
No, this isn't really a rant. This is just something I've always pondered.
Oh, good.
Questioned.
Are you pondering what I'm
wondered
pondering?
about?
Well, I don't know, Brian.
Socks.
Sandals?
No, just
Red,
socks.
white, black socks.
Like,
no longer a Major League Baseball team.
What happens to my socks? I'll have 16 pairs of socks. Then I get down to 13 pairs of socks. Then I have 12 pairs of socks. But then I have like really 11 because somehow one gets a hole in it. Like, what has happened? Does this happen to you? Do you lose socks? Do they just disappear? Do you have random holes in your socks? Because I don't understand. Like, I'm not buying cheap socks. I'm buying good socks. Like Adidas, Nike socks. I don't walk outside in my socks. Why are they getting holes? Do I have an aggressive washer and dryer? I don't know. Where do they go? Is there a crack? Is there a hole in my washer and dryer that they just disappear into? When I pull them out, do they just like fall out and before like I transfer them to the basket? Do they fall under the dryer? If I lift my dryer, is there going to be a bunch of socks under there? Where are all my socks?
I don't know.
Why do I have to? I mean, granted, I would refresh my socks every year or whatever, just because. But like, why am I having to do it every 6 months? Because they're just going missing. Like, are my dogs getting into my dryer and eating my socks? I don't know. Is this a problem everybody has?
I think a lot of people do have the problem. I'll give you that.
I think a lot of people have the problem of losing socks. I don't know about the holes. The holes might just be a me thing, and I don't really understand it.
Like, how long are you wearing these socks? Are you wearing them outside?
No,
like,
I'm not.
Are you wearing
They're
these
wearing
things?
them around my house, and that's it.
But you wear them a lot, like without shoes on. I guess that's what
I
I'm
would
asking.
say most of the time, I don't. I'm more barefoot around my house.
Fair.
Most of the time.
Have you ever watched South Park?
Yeah.
Do you remember the underpants gnomes?
No.
You got to find that episode. That's what's happening to your socks, buddy.
Dude, I don't know. I'm just tired of buying socks. Like, they're not cheap anymore.
No, they're not. I don't really have that problem anymore. I used to have that problem a lot, but I don't know if I'm more intentional now. Listen, every time I take my socks off, they're together in the hamper, and then when the socks are in the white clothes. My wife doesn't wash white clothes a lot. I do. They always get washed together.
I don't. I did the thing where I went by the maybe I need to go back to doing this, where I was buying the laundry bags and I was putting all my socks in the laundry bags because I was like, I'm getting separated.
Organization.
I don't know what happens. I literally have a spot on my dresser for like lost socks, and eventually 2 socks make a pair.
Hooray.
That's like it's a great day. You know, it's a good day when I wake up and I'm like, oh look, a sock that matches this sock.
I know where that other sock is. I've been looking for that.
But slowly, my sock drawer is just depleted.
I love it.
It's a struggle. I just wanted to, as you can see, I have a hole in my sock. And I realized it on the way
on the
over
heel.
here. Yeah.
Maybe what is it? Oh, not overpronate. I don't freaking know. I'm not going to pretend
I
to
don't
know.
know, man.
Not going to pretend to know. Oh, man. It's just going back to this Derek Carr thing. Look at all the things I wrote down. I don't think I even went down through all these things. Like, I was so frustrated.
I have other random things if you want me to get into it, or if you want to go into one of your random ones, and then I'll go into one of mine.
I will. I want to say one thing, and I'm just going to move on. We don't even have to respond to it. We made the wrong choice in the kicking game at both spots.
Well, I agree on the punter. Listen, there's no debate there.
Groupies missed like 4 out of his last 5 or something. No, it's not that bad. It's like 3 out of his last 5.
But also, Lutz isn't. We probably should have another kicker, but I don't know that Lutz is the answer.
That's fair. All right,
I
don't want to talk about Saints anymore. I just had to say it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I had a topic that actually came up. I went to brunch on Sunday, and there was a very interesting topic that came up in our discussions. People who have great artistic ability, but maybe aren't the greatest people. Does anyone come to mind for you?
People that have great artistic ability, but aren't the greatest people.
I'll tell you the first one on my list.
Go ahead.
R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Great music. But you know what? A little bit of weird stuff going on there. All right. He's kind of a diddler of children. He pees on people. Or maybe people pee on him. Maybe I got that backwards. I don't know. I think a little weird.
Yeah.
I got more on the list.
Keep going. You go ahead.
All right. I'll say Michael Jackson with a question. Because we don't really know, but we heard. Was that the media just going after him? I don't know.
I still listen to Michael Jackson.
Love his music. Love it. Him and Prince are dude, that's my top 2 right there.
Michael Jackson died on my brother's, I forget what birthday it was, but he died we were at my brother's birthday party at my grandma's house.
Oh, that's tough.
And we were all sitting in the living room, and it came up on the TV.
That's funny. Well, it's not funny
June 25th,
at all.
Michael Jackson died.
My son was born June 22nd. We were in the hospital for a while, and it happened while we were in the hospital. So that's all we did was watch it on TV the whole time. I was damn.
I have a couple things like that. I've told you before that Kobe died the day I got my first son baptized at the baptism.
Just got to stop doing things. I don't really want to talk about the Kobe death. You want to go back to the topic? I have more. There's 2 more I listed. I'm going to say he who shall not be named.
He who shall not be named.
Darren Sharper.
Well, you said artistic.
Yeah, I'm considering him an artist on the football field, sir.
I guess.
Terrible person off the field.
Bill
on the
Cosby.
Football field. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Is he guilty?
Should we just bleep all these names and nobody don't know who we're talking about?
Karl Malone?
Yeah.
You want to talk about
The
it?
mailman.
Want to talk about it?
No.
Supposedly got a 13-year-old pregnant. Nobody acknowledges it.
I mean, there's a lot of rappers out there that have done questionable things.
I actually Googled before. I had these all on the list already. I Googled. I didn't want to bring up anybody else, but there's a lot of celebrities that have openly admitted to having sexual relations with minors. And I'm like, what?
This is completely off topic. Are you tired of seeing Jada all over your Twitter?
Yeah, I don't really care.
I don't I feel like I know too much about their relationship. I don't search for these things. It just shows up, and I'm just tired of hearing about it.
I'm just disappointed because I just go back to that Jada and that Will love, and every time I see Jada and Will now, I'm like, that ain't the type of love I want. It's not real.
No,
they've been separated for a while, and all the reason they're together is because they don't have a prenup. They don't want to split up the money. Supposedly, I don't know. Go listen to Talking That. Yeah, they actually dive into that topic.
You know what? Now that you say that, I remember seeing that as their thumbnail.
Yeah, it's Jada and Will.
Are you a window seat or an aisle seat guy? This leads into something I want to talk about.
All right, elite people choose the aisle seat. I'm just letting you know.
I choose the aisle because I'm tall.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Have you seen what United is about to start doing?
No. Are they charging more for certain stuff?
They're starting a new boarding process. So instead of going group 1, group 2, whatever, however you do it,
right?
They're going to start boarding window seats first.
Okay, go ahead.
Then middle seats, then aisle seats.
So I'll board last.
You'll board last.
Okay. Trade-off, I guess.
The downside is...
You get off first?
If you have a carry-on, all the carry-on things are... It sounds like a fantastic idea. It's I don't have to worry about... See, I fly Southwest where you just kind of get in where you fit in.
Right.
Right?
It's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Good luck.
but that sounds like a great idea, right? At first, you're like, yeah, more organized. And then you're like, kind of sucks for people that aisle seats.
Yeah, your bag's going to be way in the front. You're going to be way in the back. Or you're going to have to walk away to the back.
I flew United on the way home from Austin. This was the first time, like I said, I flew American. But same thing. Mm-hmm. Always fly Southwest, and I really like. I always have a carry on, but it's like my computer, so it usually stays on my feet. This time when I flew to Austin, all I had was my carry on. Had all my clothes in it, and they were like, before the flight, they're like, "Yeah, we're kind of full. We need people to volunteer to check their bags, or you're not gonna be able to do it." So I went on the app and bought the upgrade to board first, because I was like, my bags are coming with me. I'm not checking my shit right now.
That's so funny. I've heard him say that before. I'm not gonna lie, and like every time I'm like, bet.
They gave me like 4 more inches of leg room, supposedly.
Yeah, the Pro. What is it? The Comfort Plus.
I don't even know, dude.
Every time my response to it is like, all right, we finna see. You ain't checking my bag. We're gonna figure this out.
Best believe I'm about to be at the front of that line.
You ain't checking my shit. Not happening.
Like normally I don't mind if they check it, but I'm like, something about checking it at the gate makes me uncomfortable. Like I don't think that's getting on that plane.
It's probably the best way to check it too, to be honest. But like, I just don't trust it.
Probably, you're probably right. But like,
it's a
also,
direct
I was like,
path.
this is the one time that I had just to carry on. I was taking advantage of it.
Yeah, man, I do that every time I fly now. Actually, when I go to Atlanta a lot for like 2-3 days here and there. I literally bring one bag. It's a carry on. Well, I'll bring like a backpack too. So I'll kind of, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm not checking shit ever.
I always check. But it's usually what always ends up happening is like we go to the times we've been to like Vegas recently. It's the time of year where it's like stupid hot during the day, but then super cold at night. So you got to pack for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And even if it's only 3 days, it's hard. Because like you've been to Vegas, right?
No, actually.
No? Like it's cold out there.
Yeah.
And you got to pack like a heavy coat. So like you can't just put it in a little carry on. And I'm somebody that does the vacuum things. The vacuum bags?
Oh wow!
Tell
me more.
Well, I'm just trying to.
Or don't.
I'm just trying to save space. That's all.
Yeah, sorry.
Like it's easier to get a carry on if I'm vacuum sealing
so
things.
So much effort into that. I'm be honest.
It's really not.
You have to buy something. You have a bag. They have to stick into this thing. And
no, it's not like that.
No, how do you vacuum?
I'm not vacuuming like meat.
Well, how do you vacuum bag these things?
Mine
like,
has a little pump, and it's just like you put them in the bag.
You have to physically do something.
They have some that you don't have to physically do it, but mine you do.
Okay.
But I'm saving space. Okay.
That's fair.
That's all.
That's fair. What other topics you got?
Did you know the Colorado buffalo is not the live mascot is not a buffalo?
Is it a bison?
It is a bison.
I don't know how I guessed that. I guess just like thinking, like looking at it, I was like, looks like a bison.
So they're the bison.
I also don't understand that they're
Bisons.
the buffaloes. Are they the buffalo? I don't know. We're gonna move past this.
Bisons?
Making fools of ourselves. Speaking of college football,
Bisons or bison?
Dude,
what is the plural?
It's bison.
Okay.
Yeah. Most animals are just no S. Most. Some of them I get confused. Fishes. I don't know. I think fishes.
Fishies.
I don't know. Like it's weird. But I learned it's no S, but it is what it is. Somebody's gonna correct me on that. Thank you if you do. Speaking of college football, the Tulane Green Wave are 5-1. They are now ranked again. Let's get into this topic. I didn't do any pre-research on this. I don't care.
Roll wave.
Roll damn wave. What is it? I did that backwards. No, I did it right. 5-1. Beat Memphis in Memphis. Big win. Ranked number 23 right now.
We back, baby.
Yeah, we back. We never left, to be fair. Like, they kicked us out of the rankings because we lost to Ole Miss. Ooh. With a backup quarterback. LSU's 19, man. You're four rankings apart. LSU slips up a little bit. Tulane streets might be right, boy. You got homecoming game this weekend is what I'm getting at. Playing against North Texas. You got any thoughts on that? Are you excited? What are your expectations? I mean, it feels pretty straightforward. We don't have to dive into all the nuances. I don't want to be hurt by the game, but
I'm from here out. I'm expecting wins.
Yeah, fair.
Right? I think they're next. The only one that people are looking at as a challenge. Granted, you could have a trap game here. Like I don't. You never overlook an opponent.
Yeah.
No matter who it is, right? Like, but the only one that is supposed to or expected to give them any kind of challenge until the championship game is UTSA, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting just go handle business. That's what they need to do from here out. Now it kind of hurts them as far as rankings. Like they're not going to move up because of any of these wins. They'll move up as people lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like
just
they're not going to
winning.
have another game where they win and it helps them move up. Is what I'm trying to say. except until their championship game.
Right.
So just go handle business. I just want to see them. Like I want to see them look good again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, make Tulane great again.
Like, yeah, okay.
They brought the bacon wave back.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm all in.
I think you know what I do want to see. I feel like Pratt's kind of been off a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's just because he's I don't know how healthy he was the game we were
Not
there
that I have
for.
a source. I'm just saying I feel like he's hurt.
I don't know how healthy he was the game. That was the first game back, the one we were there for. Mm-hmm. And then what was this? The next one, or was there another one in between?
There was one in between for sure. There was one last weekend.
So I feel like he's getting back to. Not that he's looked bad at all, but he looks so good and so efficient week one. Mm-hmm. I just want him to.
Against a good team.
Yeah, I just want him to get back to that, and I think he will. But I like that they finally have decided to stick with a one guy at running back.
Yeah,
for the most part. People are starting to come into their own. The defense
for real,
right?
Like really.
Lance is balling, like
yeah. That defensive line looks good. Yeah. Everybody looks good. Let's be real. Like
right. So you just like. We don't have to do this every week, like you're saying, because the opponents are going to be kind of straightforward. Just handle business. Do what you're supposed to do. What good teams win, but what do great teams do?
They cover.
That's right. So just do that.
I don't know why that came to my brain, but that's
I didn't know if you were going to know that because you're not a betting guy. So I didn't.
They cover. Yeah. Now, I was going to say they obliterate, and I was like, no, that's dumb. What is it? That's why I paused for a second.
Yeah, just go handle business. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? I agree, and there's not too much to talk about there. Obviously, I expect to win. If they don't, I'll be alarmed. It is what it is. But a lot of good things happening around the program, I guess, is what I'm thinking too, right? Like, you're ranked again. You got a pretty easy schedule in front of you. You can finish strong. You could possibly make another major bowl game. A lot of money coming into the program. Facilities being upgraded. Big recruits on the horizon, like that are talking to you, that are visiting. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on, and I've been seeing a lot of lists where Tulane is mentioned as the number one school in the Group of Five in general. Like they have the best potential to join any of these power conferences. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
How soon would you want to see them make the jump? I've heard ACC rumors, obviously. Do you think they should wait it out? Like what? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on any of
that? I mean, I'd like to see it. We've talked about it plenty of times before. Like, I just think that, like, they're, as a person whose other team is in the ACC, granted, they could compete with that team, with Miami.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. It'd be a good.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's got more talent, but Tulane is a better team. Like, they're better coached. They're just a better team. Mm-hmm. So it'd be good. Like, they're better than they're better than some of the bottom teams in the SEC.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think just being in the ACC, being in the SEC, hell, being in the Pac-12 or whatever it would be, right? Would bring, just being in a Power 5 in general, bring something.
I think it also is going to bring better recruits.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You get the recruits just because you're in that division. You get a cut of whatever TV deal they're in. You get more money. Like, there's no downside to me.
Yeah.
To being in a Power 5.
So just first available.
Yeah, like I mean, at the way college football is going, like,
just get in one.
What you gonna like? The geographically, the best one is probably the ACC.
Yeah. You know what I love about this though? Hold on, if I this is the first thought I just had. If Tulane ends up in the ACC, just because like they earned it or whatever, and SMU had to give up money and pay to get in the ACC, and they're not going to make any revenue for 5 years or something like that, and they still have to play Tulane every year, I'm going to die laughing.
I will say, like, we don't have to stick with this too long. Maybe we can do another separate thing on this, but I think there's something to being the best Group of 5 team.
Yeah.
With a 12-team playoff coming, I don't know that you have to go to a Power 5.
That's fair.
There's benefits.
But do you think you ever get the recruits to actually hang with some of these teams when you get into the playoff? Like, do you think you can actually hang? Like, yes, you could be the best Group of 5 team. Does that then do you then gain the respect of a lot of these recruits coming out? Do you start getting the 4 and 5 star guys? Not that they're not right now. Like, they're getting the looks.
listening to like Miami recruiting podcasts, they talk a lot about guys visiting UCF, just because it's a lot of the same,
Right.
a lot of the same people. And UCF is getting guys.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason Tulane can't become UCF. You know what I'm saying?
Tulane's better than UCF.
Right, but you know what I mean? Like,
it on a
UCF got to a point where they were trying to claim a national championship.
Well, you know what? Rightfully so. Screw that. I'm going to go all in on that.
They were that good, though.
They were
You know
good.
what I mean?
Those 2 years were magic.
What was that? Maybe 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah. I don't remember how long
That was the
ago
Joe
it was.
Burrow year, wasn't it? Wasn't that the year that they knocked Joe Burrow out and made Joe Burrow good?
Yeah.
Like,
no, that was kind of the end of it, but yeah.
That was the end of it? Right.
Yeah.
So, but like, they could become that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, UCF's getting 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if you can...
UCF's in a hotbed, too. I mean, not that Tulane's not. Tulane's in Louisiana. Like, this is a great area.
Right. That's what I was literally about to say. LSU's going to get the majority, right? But you can't tell me you can't tell me you can't talk to some of these 4 or 5 stars that are considering LSU and have to wait a couple years, and be like, hey, you could come here and play now.
I think that's what they're doing now, and they're doing that. They're kind of preaching the family thing, which I'm hearing every every player we've talked to from Tulane has spoken so highly of the culture, which they rightfully so, right? But they also speak of like the family atmosphere and how it feels like a family. And that feels special. They're getting looks from guys in Texas, looks from guys in SEC country. Like, they're having visits.
And you know what? They may not get them, but in this age of college football, it doesn't matter whether you get them this year. Mm-hmm. Because next year, 2 years from now, the transfer portal, they're good. These guys always seem to want to come back home.
Yeah.
Like... And I hate that I always bring up Miami when we talk about this, but it's what I listen to for recruiting.
Yeah.
All of their transfer guys are guys that Miami was in on 2 years ago. And they're like, I just want to come back home. And it's former 4 stars, former 5 stars, and they come back. You know what I mean? So
I do.
It's all about building relationships now. Do you have a bottle opener?
Not on me. I have one inside, so we're kind of SOL.
I was thinking that.
We should have
check it. Then check it, because I don't know.
Twist? Shit ain't twist.
I doubt it. No.
Ain't no way this is twist. First one I grabbed.
I had one last random topic. It's kind of a sad situation.
Oh no, what is it?
Best Buy is deciding they are no longer going to sell DVDs and Blu-rays next year.
Boo.
R.I.P. in peace to DVDs and Blu-rays. I already felt old because I'll be 30 next week. And now I just feel older.
So speaking of old, I just sent a text and I kind of freaked out because I thought I sent it to you because I heard your phone. And I was like, damn.
Did you text Victoria to bring us a bottle opener?
I definitely texted my wife to bring us a bottle opener.
Do we think she's still awake?
I don't know.
I can hold it down for a minute. Go ahead.
You going to talk? Spit some game.
Give me something to talk about. What I want to talk about.
I want you to talk about, I don't know, what's something you're passionate about, man?
I don't know. Do we have to do this again?
Tell me who Dave is. Tell me about cream-filled donuts.
I don't know, man.
Talk about Miami football.
I don't want to talk about Miami football. Miami football sucks. You know what I think I'm going to start doing? Go ahead. You know what I think I'm going to start doing on Sundays? I think I'm going to watch Dolphins games. You guys watch Dolphins games? We watch the Saints every Sunday. Miserable experience, right? We can watch the Dolphins. Do you watch the Dolphins? The Dolphins have Tua. He's a lefty. How many left-handed quarterbacks have you seen? Not a lot. It's incredible. They got speed going all over the field. They got this guy who runs like a 4.2. Apparently they got a white guy on a practice squad that's faster than all of the guys on this team. But really, the thing is they got the lefty quarterback. We haven't seen a lot of lefty quarterbacks. And now Patty's back. You should tune into Miami games on Sundays.
You know what I love about this?
Dolphins, to be clear.
This isn't even a live podcast. We could have cut whatever we wanted.
Of course. What fun is that?
Jesus.
It's something I'm seriously considering because the Saints are miserable experience.
Hey, listen, I'm all in on the Dolphins thing.
I was trying to think about this the other day. There was something I kept doing last year. I think it was the Pelicans. Was it like every time the Pelicans sucked?
Here, I don't want to pour for you and mess up the.
There was something I was doing. Like every time the Pelicans sucked, I was tweeting about another team, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't know.
Oh wait, what do we have here?
I was going to talk about it after we poured it, but you could do it now if you want. It's up to you. Yeah, I don't remember. I'll be honest with you.
Do you remember me doing something annoying though? I feel like I kept getting.
Maybe you probably pissed me off a time or two.
So I got
the
these specifically for you.
Thank you for me, just for me
because they're bourbon barrel beers.
Get a little head on that. Everybody loves a little bit of head, right? What does everybody want?
Give me an. Sorry.
If you get that reference, man, I'm just throwing out references tonight, guys. Al Snow, by the way, is who I'm talking about. Head.
I used to have a head.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I did. I think.
Oh, you know what?
We need to dive into this another time. I think or not that you underestimated, but we haven't talked enough about how much of a wrestling fan I was as a kid.
Was?
Still am, but I'm talking. I had hundreds of like the action figures.
Yeah.
And would sit in my room for hours, and just play with them. That's what I did as a kid.
I have a story, but I want to talk about because we didn't tell what beer this is
we
yet.
rambled for like 3 or 4 minutes before we even started. So go ahead.
Fine.
We got time.
That's totally fine. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. So this is Boulevard Brewing. It's a bourbon barrel quad barrel aged ale. Let's read some stuff about it, right? Barrel aged, 12.2% alcohol by volume.
That's why I said we should split it.
What are we doing here?
We got 2 of them.
Oh my goodness.
I think that one's got less.
Yeah, well, Puerto Rico, do not litter. Yeah, government warning. According to the Surgeon General, it doesn't say where. That's what I was trying to figure out. Kansas City, Missouri. Shout out Taylor Swift. All the Swifties in Kansas City these days. You want to check it out? Did you take a sip?
I knew this was trouble when we walked in.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of light like it looks light.
Yeah, it does look light.
Give it
a smell. It smells like beer.
We're not drinking these out of the proper glasses either.
We're not.
It's supposed to be out of sifter.
It's fine.
At 40 to 50 degrees is what I read.
I want to call out something real quick here. This is a Loggers mug. Shout out to Loggers. Any Metairie folks out there? Loggers shut down years ago. Loggers used to have pint night. Every pint you bought, you got a glass.
We used to go to what is the name of the one in Baton Rouge?
The Bulldog?
Maybe it was the Bulldog.
The Bulldog does. So the Bulldog owned Loggers.
Okay. I was about to say they also did pint night. We used to go all the time. And I literally have a bunch of glasses like this from the Bulldog because of pint night. I would walk out of that motherfucker like this.
So that one, I used to have a bunch. I don't know what happened to them all.
All of my glasses are from that.
That one is from the original Swamp Room. Also, shout out. Both these places no longer exist. Swamp Room still does, but it ain't the same. Yeah. Metairie. Who knew?
Shout out to Boulevard Brewing Company.
Yeah. All right, let me take a sip. Oh, that is interesting. It doesn't taste like a beer. I'm gonna be honest. It almost tastes like a mixed drink.
It's not as strong as that. I thought it was about to be potent.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like bourbon either. I don't know what it tastes like.
This is smoother than I thought it was going to be.
Very smooth.
Some of these can be tough. Like some of these bourbon aged ones can be hard to drink. Now, this is coming from somebody who like doesn't drink bourbon like that. Like maybe they'd be easier for you because you drink bourbon, but
yeah. I just finished a glass of bourbon, but yeah, it does. I guess there's a hint of bourbon, but it's super smooth. There's a hint of beer, but it's not like overpowering. This is like very in between. This is
what I like. Like Chimes didn't have it when we went the other day, but this is what I like to get when I go to dinner because you can get 2 of these
and get wasted
and feel great.
Yeah, 12.2%.
This is what I like to drink like before I go out because you get a quick buzz off of 2 of them.
This other one was not 12. I'll tell you what.
No, it's
just
like 4.5.
I feel right now,
but I'm willing to bet
just
4.5.
a beer. Yeah, no, it's 5.2. But still, I mean, I ain't
4 or 5 is usually what all of those are.
5.2.
But this is just like a sipper.
So story about wrestling. Back to that.
Go ahead.
Oh, we were talking about wrestling. You mentioned you used to sit in your room and play with action figures. I used to have a ton of action figures too, and I was broke. So I never bought, like, the action figures were like hand-me-downs. I never bought like the ring and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But what I did is what I had was cardboard and styrofoam. Thank you, tap me off there. And I literally made a set, like a raw set where I made a ramp. I made like the stage. I made the screen, the Titantron or whatever it was called. Yeah, I was a nerd, man. We also used to backyard wrestle.
Dude, I used to have the different rings where Like I had the regular ring, I had the cage match ring, I had an elimination chamber ring.
You were rich.
It's fine. Nope. I used to keep a red marker because I wanted to make my characters bleed. So I'd color on them. So like eventually all of them were red. Like I didn't never clean them off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how'd you clean them?
I never did. But dude, I used to, that is what my mom could tell you. That is what I used to do for hours. Like I would just sit in my room and just entertain myself.
Yeah.
With that, I had a giant container.
Yeah.
That was just covered in them. I've tried to get Kaysen into it, and he's starting to a little bit. I got him like four figures.
Love it.
And a ring. It's like Andre the Giant, Edge, Hulk, and Goldberg. I think are the 4.
Love it. All the older folks.
Yeah, well, they came in like Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan came in pack of 2, and then my mom bought him Edge because that was her favorite, and then I just got him Goldberg. But I'm trying to get him into it. He'll watch wrestling with me a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that led to going to every show around here. The Disney cruise with the wrestlers that we've talked about.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah. Thrash and Mosher, was it? What are their names?
Mosh and Thrasher.
Mosh and Thrasher?
Yeah.
I said it backwards. It's fun. That's it. Honestly, I don't have. You got any other topics? Now we're just sitting here drinking. Like, I don't know what else to say.
I don't have anything else to say either.
It's been a good one. I have other topics, but I feel like we'll save them for fill-in for some other stuff. So
we can. We do have one more that I want to try tonight, whether we do it on camera or not.
Yeah, I mean, well, by the time we get to that, it's gonna be an hour and a half. So
yeah.
We'll let it ride. We'll drink it off camera, or we'll just film it for extra content. We'll see.
Whatever you want to do, man.
We'll sit here and drink. Let's close this thing out, man. I appreciate y'all. I know we don't say it a lot, or maybe I say it a lot. Everybody that watches, I genuinely appreciate it. It's funny. I've been watching a lot more of the Pat McAfee show, I guess, because he's on ESPN. But his whole thing, like, this show stinks, right? This show sucks. Like, if you're watching this show, why? but thank you. Everybody that walks up to me and it tells me about random topics we've talked about, it surprises me every time. The amount of people that interact with me outside of social media because of the podcast blows my mind. And I always am like, hey, maybe you should comment that. And they never do, but it's fine.
You told me the other day, you remember you texted me the other day saying you were getting you were at a party or whatever.
Yeah.
That day, and I meant to text you this, and I forgot. I was at a gas station getting gas, and I was walking up, and one of my buddies happened to be getting gas. Mm-hmm. And all he said to me was, dude, I'm loving the pod. Y'all doing great. Shout out to Cody, because he said he watches, so shout out to him.
There you go.
But I wanted to text you. I was like, that is the first time, and it's a guy that I see often from basketball.
There you
go. But the fact that that's all we talked about, I was like, my response is always when somebody tells me they listen, I want to be like, why?
I've actually said it so many times. People are like, I like that you said this, this, and this. And I was like, why are you listening? Who listens to me?
But part of it is asking because you're like, okay, well, why are you listening? Because we'll do more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is cool. Like, that was the first time I've had that.
It's insane, man. People walk up in Target. Like, it's like, there's just so many. And I'm like, I get there's so many people out there that do podcasts. There's people that have way larger platforms than me and us. But that my friends also look at me and like, hey, man, like, you do this. That's awesome. I appreciate this, this, and this. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like not to go down a rabbit hole because we're trying to close this thing out. I had a friend the other day, like, I didn't know he really listened, but he's like, hey, man, you should really talk about the war going on. And I was like, I try to shy away from negative topics. Like, it's like I would, but there's nothing good I'm going to say about it. And he's like, yeah, but you have a platform. And I was like, what? No, I don't. But like, the more people that talk to me, I'm like, man, this is kind of funny. Like, it's cool, man. It's humbling, I guess is what I'm getting at.
It is cool. And the only thing else I'll say, like, I want to start, I want to have more people come do this with us. I think it would be fun. Like, we've had Mark. Like, I'd love to have Mark back. I got one for you. I didn't tell you yet. I'll say it after. I'm not going to say it on air because we're gonna surprise everybody with it. Like, I want to have like my friends that I know have listened come talk. We've we can say it. We've talked with Dalton and Kevin. That's coming.
Yeah,
we're gonna do a joint pod with them.
We got a joint pod coming,
so that'll be fun. Like, I just want to have more people on. Just talk to people, get to know people, because that's all we really care about, right?
Yeah.
Every time we put out a Tulane thing, we talk football, but all we care about is getting to know people.
Yeah.
And, like, it's fun just having, even if it's just like your friend or Brandon, Like just getting to know them and just shooting shit with them. It's fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm about. So, but yeah. Anyways, that was a long way of saying we appreciate everybody who listens. I also went off on a tangent. Talking That
This is really good.
Formally Informal. Both of them are really doing their thing, man. Talking That had a really good podcast this week. If you're gonna watch one of them, watch this week's. Formally Informal just put one out too. We all put them out at the same time, so I'm sorry for y'all. Watch them late. It's okay.
Usually
they still hold the same
Fridays
weight.
seem to be the day for Talking That is like what, every other week?
Every other week on Fridays.
And then so Fridays are usually the day that all three of us seem to come out.
That's fine.
We're going to come out late this week.
That's fine. You just watch them when you can. Check out theknow.com, man. There's so many interviews we're doing with random LSU, Breakers, Tulane, so many players coming on. Pelican season starting.
Basketball
I guarantee you, man, we got so much that's going to happen for basketball season. Just keep following, man. We're going to keep growing. It's amazing me every day the steps that we're taking and how
I'd
we're
argue
growing.
our best content creators are basketball.
I would
people.
agree. I would 100% agree, and that's not a slight to anyone else. They're great at what they do.
Yeah.
And I think they're really going to shine. We'll see how it turns out, but
That's all I got.
I'm almost jealous because like I want to do it, and I'm like I feel like you do this better. Just go do it.
I told you,
man.
like I don't even want to. I'm taking a step back because I know I'm not as good as,
Yeah, it's
as other
fine.
people.
Just let me come on and talk that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out.
All right.
That's it.
that's all I got.
Yeah. Until next time, man. Appreciate y'all. Tune in everywhere. See you next week.
Later.
Thanks.